Hello and welcome to a Powered4 TV exclusive interview. And today I have the pleasure of speaking to the owner and the promoter of the newest wrestling company to come on board Powered4 TV. I've got Kim from Ignite Wrestling with me. So Kim, great to have you on the podcast today in the interview. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited to be part of the new Powered4 family. And we've done a little bit into the UK, but we're super excited to come onto this platform and let everybody see what we can do.
Absolutely. And we're going to kind of dive deep into everything Ignite Wrestling and to talk about how it came about and about yourself and about some of the many key players that play a massive role in Ignite. But let me ask you first of all, Kim, now Ignite Wrestling, it bills itself as a female-owned company, a fan-driven company. But when did you first get the idea to start your own wrestling promotion that eventually became Ignite Wrestling?
Back in 2015, I had a totally different company. I ran a small newspaper that did community events. And as a wrestling fan, I was checking out little local shows. And the nicest way I can say it is the shows I were going to were so horrible that I actually turned to my husband and said, I could do a better job at this because I love wrestling. And so I spent about a year researching before I actually did a live show. But, I was fortunate. Lindsay Dorado from the WWE was one of my mentors that we had a lot of conversations about what worked, what didn't work, and how I could set myself apart.
Absolutely. And talking about that, what do you believe makes Ignite so unique compared to other wrestling promotions, especially, within Florida, where it's a bit of a hotbed for wrestling promotions? But what makes Ignite so unique, would you say?
I have no background in wrestling, so I have no ego. So I have no, I'm not stroking my ego. I'm not going to put a belt on myself. I'm not doing this because
Yeah.
anybody wronged me. And I never got a title shot, the whole cards. No, I'm doing this because I want people to have the experience I had as a child. I was at my first wrestling show when I was 5, and I want them to have that memory where you don't forget. And that's the problem with a lot of promotions. They're not doing it for the fans, they're doing it for themselves
Yeah.
and to put themselves over and to make themselves a star. And I'm not the star. You'll never see this in spandex.
But let's talk a bit about your wrestling fandom then, because you mentioned there that you went to your first wrestling show when you were 5. So I'm guessing it started at a very young age for you. What was going on in the wrestling scene around that time? What were some of the companies you were watching, or some of the big characters or larger than life characters that kind of drew you in as a young fan?
You're going to find out I'm really old. I will be 57 in December. So I became a wrestling fan during the Bruno Sammartino reign.
Yeah.
Chief Jay Strongbow, Ivan Putski, Baron Miguel Cicluna, that whole era. I came up through that. By the time I was in grade school, it was Stan Hansen breaking Bruno's neck in Madison Square Garden. You know, uh, Tatanka, Iron Sheik, Randy Savage. I got to see all of them. Superfly Jimmy
Wow.
Snuka. So I saw the legends. Bob Backlund when he won the belt.
Yeah.
So it was a totally different, very uh, different era before it got all attitude and
Yeah.
so I've got to see so many different incarnations of wrestling. It's made being a fan fun, and I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy the Attitude Era. That was a fun era, but
Yeah.
no, when I was a fan, every Sunday we would have family dinner at my grandma's, and after dinner, all the cousins and all of us would sit in the living room and we would watch wrestling. And it's my earliest memories, Sunday dinner and wrestling. So it's in my DNA.
That's fantastic. And how would you say your wrestling tastes have changed or matured over the years? Have you kind of gone more into, well, obviously into indie wrestling, but are there other promotions that have grabbed your attention over the years?
Uh, I love a heel. I'm sorry. I love a heel wrestler. I was a Stan Hansen fan. I was
Yeah.
a Dick Murdoch fan. I like the guys that got the pop. So yeah, I was a huge follower of AWA. We didn't have, cable, and we could only see WWF. And if you had the little rabbit ears on your TV, you could watch AWA. But I had to read about it monthly in magazines to learn who people were. So I had all these like visions in my head how bad some of these guys really were, and they were so tough because I saw these really cool pictures, and then later I found out they really weren't that good of wrestlers, but the pictures were great.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to that with all the magazines I used to buy, being drawn in by the fantastic looking wrestlers. But yeah, so my wrestling taste changed to the more technical style. I prefer the more technical wrestler as I got older. But let's talk a bit about yourself then, Kim, if we can. So you're not only the owner and the promoter of Ignite, as we've established, but you're also a TEDx speaker, and you're also nominated for 2018 Woman of the Year. So congratulations on them fantastic accomplishments. But tell me about being a TEDx speaker first of all, and then going on to your nomination in 2018 for Woman of the Year. That is some fantastic accomplishments there straight away.
What was awesome was one of the people that worked at our venue nominated me for the Woman of the Year as a business professional in 2018. So when TEDx actually came to our area, I was one of the I think we were 12 speakers. I was the 12th speaker, and I got to close the show out. But being on TEDx had been a goal of mine for about 3 years, and I'd been applying and applying and applying. And from networking, because I do a lot of networking, go to a lot of business luncheons and chamber of commerce and everything. People realize I have a very quirky sense of humor, because everyone's showing up in suits and dresses, and I'm in a t-shirt with a big metallic belt over my head, talking about wrestling and guys in tiny pants. So they said, we need somebody with a sense of humor that can really talk. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me.
And that must get a fantastic reaction from the other people there, the other listeners and the other presenters when you're talking about pro wrestling, because sometimes pro wrestling is a bit of a hard sell, especially to other professionals and to adults in general, because you grew up a wrestling fan as a young child, same for myself. What sort of reactions have you got when you're presenting and talking sometimes about pro wrestling?
I'm told you, I'm asked when I'm going to get a real job. A lot. Yeah. Well, what do you actually do? And well, I'm marketing and editing and video, and they don't understand that it's more than just showing up one day and doing a show.
Yeah.
I do this 24/7, and we're on 7 platforms. We're on 6 social media platforms. We're on 7 streaming platforms.
Mm.
We have 67 merchandise items. I mean, it's a constant thing. Plus, we do our magazine. We have our own website.
Your
And
magazine and website is outstanding, by the way. And we were talking off air, and I was very, very impressed by both items, both your magazine and your website. So go and check them out if you haven't already. But yeah, so many things that you kind of that you ventured into to promote Ignite, and certainly not to be laughed at by anybody, most definitely. But I think I interrupted you there. Please carry on.
no, I mean, what's funny was, you know, I had done other things. I'd had a community events website. Before that, I had a website that helped people find work at home jobs called Work at Home Mafia. So a lot of people's first introduction to me was, you know, the Mafia Princess, and and to go from that and into wrestling, it was just kind of like, well, don't you want to do your newspaper? No, I don't want to sell ads. I want to watch people beat the crap out of each other. That's
Yeah.
way more fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's switch back to Ignite Wrestling then, if we can. And from January 2016 through to January this year, you were putting on regular shows at Fort Pierce, if I'm not mistaken, and the Orlando area as well, many of which are available on Powered4 TV, of course. But did you ever imagine that your last show in January this year would be your last one for quite some time?
I was afraid when all of that started right in February. We canceled 2 shows actually. We had a May and a September show that we've canceled. We had the opportunity to actually run in October, November. I'm not comfortable.
Mhm.
January's still 3 months away, and
Yeah.
this pandemic is terrifying to me. And so we're really hesitant to run. And they just had the big, I don't know if you're aware of the big GCW Game Changer Collective show.
Yes.
COVID cases. Wrestlers,
Really.
they've got COVID cases from the wrestlers. And today it is a huge panic here in the US. Wrestlers are, there was it 13 shows or 13? I forget how many shows. It was a 2-day event. Everybody's scrambling to get a COVID test right now. And they
Yeah.
did try to distance and they did try to do everything. So wrestling will never be the same. It's people want to go to events, but it's never going to be the same. We're never going to be back to where we ever were. And they're
Yeah.
saying the WWE next year is not going to do house shows at all, even if COVID drops. They're making more money doing shows from the performance center, and they're going to continue to do them from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've heard the same. But let's talk about the next show. You mentioned it there in
Yeah.
January. January the 23rd, 2021 is at the moment scheduled to be your big return for Ignite Wrestling. And not only that, it's going to be your 5th anniversary. So Ignite's 5th anniversary on the 23rd of January next year. So obviously a lot of planning has gone in already to that show, which is 3 months away, as you rightly said.
Mhm.
But how much are you looking forward to getting back into action with Ignite? And what have you missed most about not being able to run shows for all this time?
I've missed wrestlers, and uh, I didn't realize in January that that would be the last show for maybe ever that I would have Serpentico
Yeah,
uh, appearing, because a year ago Serpentico wasn't on AEW, and all of that hadn't happened, and he wasn't main eventing with Chris Jericho. So yeah, people have changed. People have left the sport. People have retired. Um, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I miss the guys, I miss the girls, I miss the fans, I miss the energy of that day. It's a very long, very draining day, and I love it right up until I'm in the middle of it, and then I'm like, please God, let me go home. I'm tired.
yeah,
And then the cycle starts again. That's why I run every 3 to 4 months. It is an exhausting experience to put on a show. It really is. And people are like, why don't you run monthly? Because that's a lot of time and a lot of effort. And we have no air conditioning in our venue, and we're in Florida, so that's a lot of dehydration we deal with on that day.
indeed, indeed. Let's talk about some of the wrestlers that's been kind of a big part of Ignite Wrestling, and there's no better place to start than talking about your current champions. So obviously your last show was in January this year. Your next show is in January of next year. But your current champions, you got the undisputed champion Troy Hollywood, your women's champion Casey Lennox, and your tag champs Tech. So talk to me a little bit about your champions at the moment, then, Kim.
I love Troy Hollywood. I mean, he's going to have a 360 some day reign, but when he walks in the door,
Very true. Very
way to go,
true.
Troy Hollywood. That's the way to do it, man. Troy's great, and I love Troy. And you know, he nearly had the belt a year or two before, because I mean he was so close, but cheaters. He had the pin, and the ref was distracted. So getting Troy in there, and I can't say the match because I don't want to reveal the match, but it's going to be a match like I've never done before.
Right.
He's gonna have a challenge, and he's had a year to get ready, dude. You're gonna
I
pay for it.
bet. I bet.
And well, Casey Lennox is fantastic. She's our second women's champion. She beat Aspen Rose to become our champion. Great gal, very sweet, really nice, really nice girl, and a model, and just one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet in and out of the ring. She's going up against Dream Girl Ellie, who won a Fatal 4-Way to get the right for the title. Dream Girl Ellie is fantastic. And I don't know if you guys got to see her. The International Superstars were over in the UK last year.
Right.
No, 2019. Fantastic wrestler. And she did do a UK tour, her and Blanco Loco. But she'll be there. And then Tech is going to be taking on, is back. They've been they've been our only tag team champions. I've thrown everything in the kitchen sink at these guys. Last show I had them against two guys that were like 280, 290 pounds apiece, 6'5", 6'8".
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't like me very much. Trevor and Mike are great guys, but they're gonna go against a very technical, funny team, the classic tag team trained by the Dudley Boys. It's gonna be a great match. So these guys have been great. They're super supportive. They give 150% in the ring, and I miss them. I really miss getting to hang with them. I don't get to talk to them that much on show days, so it's going to be nice just to be there 5 years. And Troy, not Troy, Trevor and Mike are the only guys that have been with me since the beginning. So it's very special that they were in my first show, and they're going to be there for my 5th anniversary as my champions.
It's clear to see that in the nearly 5 years that Ignite's been around, it's prided itself on giving newcomers a place to perform and building talent for the future. In fact, one of your mottos is showcasing tomorrow's superstars today. But has this always been your goal to invest in newer wrestlers, in younger wrestlers, younger talent, and watch your company grow as they grow as performers, Kim?
Absolutely, because one of the biggest problems you see, and I don't know if this happens in the UK, being in Florida, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a wrestling show down here. I mean,
Very true.
We're fortunate that we're in an area that doesn't have a lot of companies, but you've got to diversify and bring in talent, because nobody wants to see the same guy every 30 miles that you drive in this show, that show, Bob's show, this show, So we, when I first talked about this, we worked really hard on bringing in people that weren't part of the Florida indie scene. Gary J, Warhorse, Timmy, the Gymnasty Boys, Eric Stevens on his return tour. There's been a lot. We even brought Ophidian the Cobra in at one point from Chikara, the Chikara tag champs. It was always a goal to make the shows different, because I didn't want people to think that they were seeing the same show that they could drive an hour away and see, or 2 hours. We had to set ourselves apart, and we did that by bringing in people that were coming up through the indies, or people that came out of a lot of people that have coming out of Team 3D Academy, the Dudley Boys, Lacey Lane, the classic tag team, Serpentico, Oraculo, a lot of those guys that came out of there, Kylan King, Skylar Moore, they're all Team 3D students.
Yeah.
So having that relationship with the Dudley Boys Academy, and with John Cruz, who's Serpentico, being their trainer, we had a lot of people that we had the opportunity as they came out. Kota Sekafuda came over to train with the Dudleys from Japan, and we had the opportunity to do his first United States match ever. So I wanted us not to be the same show. I wanted us to be unique. That's why we were Ignite. That's why we branded ourselves differently. We didn't do the same things that everybody did, because I'm not the same company as everyone else.
Yeah.
And I never will be. And I don't do storylines. So you're not going to see that stupid thing where they throw the water bottle or they throw the weapon in and then turn it. No, that's been done. Let the guys get out there, wrestle, and tell the story in the ring. Because you don't have to have writers and all this stuff. Let the guys perform and let the fans invest in the wrestler's performance. And I think that kind of makes us a little different.
Indeed. You're going to see a lot of that on Powered4 TV as well. So, but you mentioned a lot of the kind of younger talent and Team 3D that helped to develop those. But you mentioned also some established names that have come through the doors of Ignite Wrestling over the years. You mentioned Danny Burch or Martin Stone, as he's known on the independents. You've got former NXT Cruiserweight champion Leo Rush that's come through the doors of Ignite as well. Lindsay Dorado, which has been an important part of Ignite. Caden Carter or Lacey Lane. Santana Garrett's now a member of the NXT roster, and so many more. It's been quite an important kind of part for Ignite Wrestling to have these established names come through and mix it in with the local talent or the younger talent, hasn't it, Kim?
Yeah, and what we tried to do was, I mean, we have had Teddy Long, the general manager from SmackDown, but I didn't want it to be a bunch of legends.
No.
And, you know, and the older guys. I wanted it to be like Warhorse. We had Warhorse 2-3 years ago before he blew up.
Yeah.
We had Gary J before he blew up. You know, all these guys before they get really big. And we've had some people. We've had the former NWA champion Cahagas. We've had the former NWA junior champion Craig Classic. I mean, we've had people from the indie scene, but we haven't made it a whole. It's not a mark fest. I mean, we're bringing in people that are known on the indies as well as people that are making a name on the indies. So it's a nice formula. I think when it works really well for us. Because we're not a student show. Right. We want people that can entertain, and you know, this isn't. You don't come out and do our show if you have no experience. You have to have something behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned this individual just a moment ago, but I want to touch on Serpentico because he was a regular for you with Ignite Wrestling over in Florida, and he's recently kind of been a key feature of AEW Dynamite, especially that 30th anniversary of Chris Jericho celebration on last week's AEW Dynamite when he teamed with Dr. Luther against Jericho and Taker, and a hell of a match. But he has been featured not just in that match but in quite a few episodes of Dark and Dynamite for AEW, and like I say, a big part of Ignite's history. But how proud are you of Serpentico that he has made this kind big step into the kind of the nationwide scene?
I love Serpentico, and I consider him to be one of my best friends in the indies. He's given me fantastic advice. He's funny as can be, always a trip. And if you watch back some of our older shows, and I'm going to put some more matches up for Powered4, when he wrestled as John Cruz, he did a lot of antics in the ring, and I never knew. People always wondered why I popped so hard. John never told me what he was going to do. And he didn't know till we got to the ring. So there's things that happened in that ring that are just, you know, I had no idea other than, what are you going to do? Well, you'll find out. Okay.
Brilliant. Like I say, you're gonna have the opportunity to catch so many Serpentico matches on Powered4 TV. But now, if you go to Ignite's website, igniteswrestling.com, you can see the full roster of Ignite's amazing roster there. But Kim, you've got an incredibly stacked and highly talented roster throughout. Really, we mentioned off air that you've got a fantastic men's division, an amazing women's division, and a fantastic tag team division as well. But who else should we be keeping our eyes on Powered4 TV, especially when Ignite get ready for their return in January next year?
The Wasteland Warriors are coming, and that is an intergender team. Max, she's a U.S. ranked power lifter. I saw her do deadlift like 400 pounds the other day.
Wow. That's good.
Her and Leon Scott are coming. We've never seen anything like this. There's just so many people that are coming, and our show's going to be, it's going to be a 6-match show, which is kind of a small, but 4 matches are going to feature women out of the 6. It's going to be a very female heavy show, and it's leading into May, which is going to be our tournament to crown our first ever women's tag champions, which was supposed to have happened last year, but we haven't had a show.
Yeah.
So I've been hanging out with these tag team belts for like 18 months now. I just really want to put them on somebody, but The world is working against me.
It's going to happen soon. We've discussed some amazing wrestling talent that wrestle for Ignite, of course. But can you recommend any matches in particular that are that viewers for Powered4 TV can go out and watch on Powered4 TV that Ignite have put on over the years? So some really good matches that we can kind of go and catch at our leisure.
The most viewed match we've ever had is Lio Rush and Desmond Xavier from Impact. By far, that's our most popular match we've ever done. There's also Lince Dorado and Desmond Xavier match. Mr. 450, Mecha Wolf, who was part of the Lucha World Order. I've got a match with him and Lio Rush up there. Anything Kylan King, anything Casey Lennox, and Kylan King and Avery Taylor is by far one of the best women's matches I've ever seen.
Awesome. So go out and check them out on the Powered4 TV sites. But we're really excited to have Ignite Wrestling on Powered4 TV, Kim. If you have one final message for our Powered4 TV viewers and subscribers about Ignite Wrestling and why they should be checking it out, what would you like to tell them?
Oh, I have to think about it. It's just wrestling. If you love wrestling, you're going to love Ignite Wrestling. Sit back and enjoy.
Awesome.
That's all I can say is get the popcorn, sit back and enjoy. You're in for a ride, guys.
And you're definitely going to do that with Ignite Wrestling on Powered4 TV. But Kim, it's been fantastic having you on this exclusive interview with Powered4 TV. Before we let you go, it's an opportunity for you to throw out any social media plugs for Ignite Wrestling, or where we can kind of get in touch with yourself, say hi, or learn more about Ignite Wrestling.
We are at Ignite Wrestling on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, at Powered4 TV. You can also find us we're on Amazon.uk. We have a merchandise store just for you guys in the UK.
Fantastic.
Plus our regular shop on ignitewrestling.com. We can ship any merchandise from that shop to the UK as well. So we're getting ready for you guys, and we're going to have some of our videos also on Amazon Prime, primarily in the UK for you guys.
That's absolutely fantastic. But I can't wait to check out more from Ignite Wrestling on Powered4.tv. But Kim from Ignite Wrestling, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. And I can't wait. I've been checking out you guys on Powered4. And, if you haven't seen Powered4, subscribe.